quarantine, this is the biggest change that's ever happened in our lives, without a doubt. Like, we've never known life to be like this, from going from, a kind of carefree life to being, like, denied almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, with this, has quarantine, like, shown you anything about your life that you're going to change, like, moving forward outside of quarantine? Because I say this because over quarantine I've noticed so much bad, like, because I'm viewing it completely as a reset. Like, we're never going to get a chance like this, so we should take advantage of that and look at ourselves and know that maybe I'm not exercising enough, eating enough, doing whatever we've got insecure about. It's the only chance we're going to get to see that and have the hindsight to change. And that's how I've taken this whole thing, because I've had one major, like, change in my life where I had that mindset, and it's done me really well. So now I'm taking this challenge as something I've got to overcome and become better. I just want to know how you guys have seen it.
Jim, I've got something.
Well, it's nice to be justified in being afraid of every pedestrian that you walk past.
Yeah.
You know,
now everyone behaves like the way I already behave.
Yeah, like crossing the street when a fucking 80-year-old woman is coming towards you. Like, I ain't messing with this, dude.
I don't want to have to take her across the road and help her.
Yeah, I want to just be my own dude. Well, I've always been an introvert, for sure.
I think we all are very, very introverted.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's...
We're the Reddit generation.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's crazy how much, even being an introvert, you really miss physical interaction.
Yeah.
When it's taken away, like, completely, because I haven't been able to work throughout all of this. I haven't been obviously able to come here and record a JARCast every week.
When it was bad, we'd only see each other when we very occasionally went on a dog walk where we were out and we could distance properly.
Yeah. We did what, 2?
We did 2.
Yeah, we went out twice, I think.
Yeah, and recorded one of them.
And when you consider that's weeks where you don't see anyone outside your own family, like that's like Christ, that's like the fucking bloodline. That's the only thing. To
be honest, it's probably the longest amount of time we've gone without seeing each other. Because we've done the JARCast for so many years. We've all, like, every week, we've missed weeks here and there.
But I mean, going even back into school, I mean, obviously you're my brother, so it's definitely the longest time I've not seen you.
And
like school, like over summer holidays, we'd see each other maybe back in the early days before we were like proper bike ride kids every week.
Yeah,
we'd only do that like once every fucking month, maybe.
Yeah, no, but it got to a point where in secondary school, mostly sort of midway through secondary school for us, we'd see each other every day at school, and then on the weekend as well.
Yeah, every day. It was like
and then
school.
Summer holiday, it was at least once a week.
Yeah, we were constantly doing stuff, and it stayed that way up till quarantine practically. And that didn't change at all.
Yeah, there was a short phase when you were working at a place.
I had a really bad schedule.
Yeah, it felt like that in another universe, your life just totally like separated from ours. But luckily, we started JAR.
Yeah,
and that really brought us back together. Because
it was like I fucking worked a long distance away, and I lived there, so it's just like I was never home. I couldn't play games with you. It was just I was gone, and then it was suddenly like JAR happened, and then it was just like after fucking work, I'd ride back an hour, and then we stay and like stay till like 2 a.m, whatever, like doing JAR.
Can you imagine if quarantine hit like in the 80s? How excruciating it would have been without the internet.
It would have been.
Yeah,
bad, so bad. Because it's
imagine like what was the Spanish plague or Spanish flu? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what sort of restrictions they had, or if they just let people.
Well, no, back in the plague days, it was just like you're fucking locked in your house. I couldn't leave. Like you couldn't because your
medical
door
science was just so much worse than it is now. So yeah. But going back to James's question, I don't know, like I feel like the quarantine months have been like a roller coaster where there are chunks where I was like just incredibly unhealthy and unmotivated.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But then it got like so bad that for the second half of quarantine, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start like exercising and eating a bit better.
Yeah.
Doing push-ups. So I'm seeing this weird like change with my body where I'm just for the first time having a bit of strength, which is quite a weird thing to experience for someone who's always been so pathetic and
mine's practically the same because I've always been like skinny. Like you look at the early jars, I'm fucking thin, and you're quite thin as well.
We
actually.
both were.
And I've always been thin because I've had a fast metabolism, I guess, where it's just always been difficult. I cannot put on weight. If I eat fucking 10 bags of cookies in a day, I'll weigh the fucking same. You know that all that gunk's just clogging my fucking veins and arteries, and
it just goes straight out.
Yeah, you can tell I ate 8 cookies yesterday.
Really?
Like it shows, man.
And like at the start of quarantine, my whole thing was that because I have the worst schedule of work on a normal life. I get up, I leave. I don't eat breakfast, and I eat at like 1 o'clock. That's fucking bad. Off the offset, that's such a bad way.
Yeah.
And at first, quarantine taught me that I've got time in the mornings. I need to actually have like a breakfast, like something good to actually start the day. And it got gradual, like over time. Like for the first like month to the second month, I noticed like I weighed myself for like the first time in 2 years. You know, from the time I went from my bad like depression part where I was like 7 stone or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
I weighed myself and I was fucking 11. So that was a big jump. Like actually huge.
Yeah, you're
you're a
catching up to
6-foot
me.
fella.
Yeah.
7 stone's really unhealthy.
I was fucking shocked that I weighed 11. I was really happy because it's just like I've always like felt so skinny and frail. And then I'm like 11. I'm like that's my beginning to get into a really healthy weight. And over time, because with quarantine, I don't know about you, but I went through like dips where I was just like, I'm so fucking depressed. I'm so unhappy now because of.
I found it was worse at first when we just didn't know what we were dealing with. We had no idea what the scope was.
You do get used to it to a certain degree. It's really odd. Like it just becomes normal life.
Yeah.
But it also makes life worse because every day is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like my whole worry of quarantine is I know that if my mind's not being really occupied with work, I will. My mental state will crash because that's like my like antidepressant almost of the way my mind deals with it is once I'm busy I'm happy because I know my mind's occupied so I don't have time to think.
Yeah.
So when I'm working from home and I'm not in the workplace, I'm at my desk, and that's how I play games. That's where I like do everything. So just being at my desk like fucking not doing anything just really put my mind in a bad way because it wasn't occupied.
Right.
And just over time, it was just like, oh, this week's fine, this week isn't, this week's fine. And then just like listening to podcasts, and I just decided one day, because I've obviously got Gaius, and he's been at home this whole time, that I'm just going to walk Gaius on my lunch breaks, put a podcast on, just listen to podcasts, walk. And after doing that, I just felt so much better.
Get some vitamin D.
Yeah, I just felt really good. And then it's just like, oh, I'm going to run a bit to just get the blood pumping. You just feel so refreshed. Yeah. And then I started to look at how I'm actually going to go out of quarantine. And I want to be like a lot healthier, be a lot fitter. Because sitting at your desk, like being in an office, I'm on my seat all day. I go home, I play games on my seat. Yeah. So it's not good for my back. It's not good for anything. So at like 10 in the morning, I just be like, I'm just going to go plank. Because with planking, you're using your back, you're keeping your back in a really good posture, just to help with that. And then that kind of caught on, and it was just like, if I'm doing this, maybe I should, add sit-ups into it. And then, like in my lunch break, I'd think, oh, maybe I should have better food. So then it's got to the point where, like every lunch break, I'm eating a really good meal. For no rice and chicken and vegetables that help is bulking
some
type
nutrition,
of food.
yeah.
And then, but I'd also work out in that time, like 50 sit-ups, leg raises, what have you. And then since then, I felt so much better in life. I feel so good. Like in the afternoon, I'm so focused on work because I just feel so fucking good. And it's taken fucking quarantine to me to realize, I need to make that change.
Exercise endorphins cannot be overlooked.